Round 15 for Season 4 of the My Team Career Mode Journey for Cross GT Racing. Second to last race of the season took place at the Australian Grand Prix, McLean Park. A track that has not been kind to me over the seasons, but a crucial race in terms of the championship. But all over the place of the race today, as you can see from that clip there, we got spun by Norris, and luckily in that instance we didn't take any damage, but we did put Ricciardo out of the race. Esteban Ocon also out of the race. That was lap 2 of that race. Our ultimate goal for this race though, stay ahead of Max Verstappen, who was 4 points ahead of us in the Drivers' Championship standings. The nature of the race, all over the place really, mainly because we had second to last race, there's reliability issues, engine wear, and just general driver fatigue as well. It's been a tough season, ups and downs for both myself and Verstappen. We've been neck and neck for most of the season. We've had 2 retirements, Austrian Grand Prix and French Grand Prix, Max taking wins at both of those races. And then he had a retirement at Monza. We took the win there, full complement of points, a win and a fastest lap. And the championship is the championship leader swapped many times throughout the season. This race very important for both. We were neck and neck for quite a lot of the race, much like the one before in Brazil. Only difference being in Brazil we were both fighting for P1, and this here we were simply fighting to stay ahead of each other. Neither of us really in any position to win this race, but luckily we did end up coming up ahead of Verstappen there, 1 place ahead, and we gained 2 points on him. So heading into the final race of the season, there is a 2-point gap. The deciding race, the final race of the season, Abu Dhabi, is where it's all going to go down. A 2-point difference. We have to finish ahead of Max to ensure that we have a chance at winning the championship. Qualifying for Abu Dhabi was it's pretty tough. It's not a track that I'm overly good at, but I have been practicing it quite a bit. I've been playing around with some different setups just to try and get the car feeling just right for this track. A good balance of speed and handling key for this race. We aren't going to take a grid penalty this race. I was thinking about it, but our components are still in somewhat decent condition. They're not overly worn. I think some of them are in the 30s, some of them are in the 20s, so they're still pretty good. We don't need to risk dropping back down the order in order to get extra performance out of the car. All we need to do is finish we need to make sure we finish ahead of Verstappen, and we need to finish at least P9 with the fastest lap, so that we have a 2 points advantage over him at least. Lap 1 finished there. It's good enough for P2, but at that point Max hadn't done a lap, so we're not really P2 for the whole grid. We were, I think, 2 or 3 tenths behind Leclerc. We have gained quite a lot of time through sector 1 there, and the time is the delta is starting to grow. 5 tenths gained on this second lap. Stayed out to do straight onto the second lap. We're coming around the final corner. We're up 3 tenths, heading up to start finish line. Verstappen is in P2. We overtake him 300ths of a second between ourselves and Leclerc. We've got enough fuel to go 1 more lap, so we stay out, try and reduce the weight of the car as much as possible, and as you can see, it's already paying off. We're 1.5 tenths up, fastest through sector 1 yet again. Sector 1, that long sweeping right hander, or the left and then the right, we can gain a bit of time through that sector. I have noticed that when the AI were running, they were slowing down a little bit through that sector. We're able to maintain a little bit more speed, so that might be a key part of the track for us in this race as we head down the DRS straight into the slow chicane heading onto the second DRS straight. We do lose contact with the road a little bit there with the curb, so that does lose a bit of time for us, but we're still up just over a tenth on our previous best time. Green through sector 2, not purple, but we're still going faster through sector 2. Track limit warning there, a little cheeky cut over the curbing there. Much like the chicane, that curb can actually lift the car off the road, and we can lose a lot of time. We get a little bit of a slide going by going over the curb at that tight right-hander into that heavy braking area. But we managed to hold on. We're 2.5 tenths up. Last 2 corners of this last lap that we can run. Minimal fuel. The car is as light as we can get it. Up to the line, and we go fastest. We go pole 1:36.1. We managed to edge out Charles Leclerc by 2.5 tenths. Verstappen holds on to P3. Final race of the season, we have pole position. Max is P3 though, and it is going to be a battle right to the end to see who's going to come out as this year's Drivers' Champion.
Welcome to the Yas Marina circuit for the finale of another thrilling Formula One season. It's been a breathtaking year, and we end it at a track that's been the scene of many glories and heartbreaks over its history. It's time to end the season in style. It's time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The Yas Marina circuit, just over 3.4 miles long with 21 corners and 2 very long back straights. There are 2 DRS zones going into the heavy braking zones of both turn 8 and turn 11 and offer plenty of potential for overtaking. The circuit comes with its fair share of tricky corners as well, in particular 15, 16 and 17, which will certainly test a driver's braking management. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1, so how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are 3 main things to worry about there, Crofty. Positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. The captain lines up on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Perez, George Russell and Gasly, Hamilton, Sainz, Norris and Yuki Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Stroll, Mick Schumacher and Bottas. They've taken a grid penalty. Giovinazzi, Michael Schumacher.
We're still in with a shot at the driver's title. It's down to this. Now go out there and come back a champion.
Thanks, Jeff. Need the encouragement. I need everything I can get from you guys if we're going to come out on top. One final race to decide the championship. 2 stop today, starting off on the softs and going to mediums. Hopefully these medium tyres can do what they've done for me the whole season and give me a really good result here today. 5 red lights. We're sitting on pole position and we're off and away. Bit of a wheel spin, not a very good start for us. Verstappen is coming right behind us, but he's slowed down by us. Leclerc gets in front. Perez goes side by side with us. Gasly jumps in front of Verstappen, and a poor start from us has turned into a horrible start for Verstappen, who started off in P3 directly behind me. But my bad start slowed him down enough that Perez and Gasly were both able to overtake him, and he's now dropped back into P5. Charles Leclerc in that Ferrari overtaking us right off the start, and he is currently leading this race as we go down the very first straight, the very first DRS straight. No DRS yet, obviously only the first lap of the race, but I do notice there, one thing I didn't notice in qualifying, that I've just noticed there, the AI tend to brake quite a lot earlier than I do heading into that chicane there. They're starting to brake at that 150 sign, whereas I don't need to start braking until the 100 sign, so that could possibly be a good spot for us to get some overtakes and also gain some time on the AI if we need to. Heading through sector 1 on the second lap, the long sweeping right-hander, and as I said earlier, the AI, as we have contact with Leclerc side by side heading into this first chicane, we get a warning for that collision, but we managed to gain the position. We're now leading this race, and as I was saying before, like I said in qualifying, the AI tend to drop off the pace a little bit heading through that left and right hander, the turn 2 and 3, so that's a good place for us to also gain some time on them. Leclerc, as you can see, slowing down a lot earlier than us. We have a bit of a lockup heading into the chicane, but we have a much better run out of the second corner there, the second part of that chicane, and we managed to pull away from Leclerc. Fastest lap, and then immediately taken by Perez by about a tenth, a 141.5 for us and a 141.4 for Perez. So Perez showing that he has some definite pace to compete with us in this race. Lap 3, no change to the order at this point. It goes us, Leclerc P2, Perez P3, Gasly in P4, and then Verstappen back in P5. 2.5 seconds back from us. So going to be a little bit of an uphill battle for him at this rate, for him to come up and compete with us. But the timings aren't really changing too much. Everyone's sort of sticking together. Everyone's sitting in the slipstream. We do have the DRS enabled this lap, so the guys behind are going to have a much bigger advantage over me having that DRS. Leclerc starting to close the gap a little bit, gains a couple of tenths, but that second DRS zone, if you don't get a good exit out of the chicane, then you lose about as much time as you would gain on that straight. And then you have to brake again heading into another tight winding, I don't know if you call it a chicane because it's actually 3 corners in one, but you have to brake quite hard heading into that section there. We're holding on pretty well at this point. Car's feeling really good. All the newest components, all the least worn components on the car for this race, pulling out all the stops. Soft compound tyres, which this season I haven't had the greatest luck with. They've been good in qualifying, but in terms of the race and race pace, the mediums have been where they've definitely been the tyre of choice for me. We do get another fastest lap, 141.3, but then Hamilton coming through with a 141.1, 2 tenths faster in that Mercedes. So he may be someone to watch out for in this race. We are heading into the pits now. It's been 6 laps now. We're on worn. We started on worn tyres or slightly worn tyres, so we have to pit a little bit earlier. Everyone else is staying out. The new order: Leclerc P1, Perez P2, Gasly P3, Verstappen is now P4, and it looks like Hamilton is in P5. I think. I do believe it is. It's not Hamilton. I think it was one of the Alpines. I think it's Russell. As we jump onto a set of medium compound tyres, almost running over the line there. That could have been disastrous. That could have been a race over if we'd gone any further into the wall. But we come out P17, and we've got some open space between myself and Latifi in front of us. So we're not being held up by slower cars, by back markers or midfield cars. We do have some space to work with, so we're going to use this space and this time to warm up these tyres effectively. And a lap later, we've already gained a couple of seconds on Latifi. It's a 7.5 second gap between him and Giovinazzi up the road, so a bit of space between him and Giovinazzi for us to work with as well. Purple through sector 1, which is huge on these mediums. These have definitely been my tyre of choice for most of the season, where I've done my best work. I've been using the medium tyre, so I'm quite confident that we're going to be able to do some good work in this race. We've got 20 and a half laps of this race left. Lap 8 we're sitting P17, but most of the other drivers haven't come into the pits yet. I'm assuming everyone's probably going to be doing a 2-stop tyre wear at this track, is pretty full on. Because we have a little bit of contact with Latifi there. No damage to the front wing. Just letting him know that we are here as we go purple through Sector 2. And now it looks like a lot of the front runners are heading in to the pits. We've got Leclerc heading in, Gasly's in as well, Verstappen is heading into the pits as well, and the Alpine of George Russell heading in as well. Verstappen opting for another set of softs, so he is doing a 2 soft tyre race, and just as he's having his pit stop, we just come around the final corner, fastest lap at 140.6, 5 tenths faster than Hamilton's best time, and we are now off and away. We've got plenty of space in front of us. We did run through that Rolex sign. Sorry to a Rolex for destroying your sign, but I need every advantage I can get. Max back out of the pits. He's managed to jump Gasly. I think he jumped him in the pits. I think it was a really good pit stop from the Red Bull team. He managed to get in front, but it's a massive gap between him and Leclerc now. Leclerc stuck behind the Williams of Nicholas Latifi. Hopefully Latifi can hold him up just a little bit more to give me some more room. We're a little bit further up the road there, but Leclerc makes pretty quick work of the Williams there through the DRS zone. The Ferrari just showing its power there. So Leclerc is now looking to try and catch back up to us on some fresher medium tyres. It's still 1.9 seconds between him and myself, and it looks like more cars are heading into the pits now. Mick Schumacher into the pits, Sainz in the pit lane. We get another fastest lap at 140.3. Perez in the pits as well. Both Red Bulls have been in the pits, so they will be looking to run as long as they can in this race now. Verstappen, of course, on a second set of softs, so he's going to be quick if he can get past everyone in front of him, which I think is just Latifi and Leclerc, and he does end up getting in front of Latifi, but he's still quite a way back from Leclerc, who is showing just how good that Ferrari can be after their double podium in the last race. They've got that hunger to get more and have a good finish to their season, and possibly get some more prize money out of the constructors' standings. Verstappen is closing that gap though. He is not that far behind Leclerc now. He can almost sense an opportunity to pass, but Leclerc is also gaining time on us. Leclerc's in DRS range of us now, so he's got DRS for the second DRS straight. I don't think he had it on the first straight, but he has it on the second. Verstappen is out of DRS range to Leclerc. We get a track limits warning, our first one of the race, in the same spot that we got a warning in qualifying. So we need to just watch that curb. I'd like to take it a bit tighter and go over the top, just because it's I'm less likely to lose traction and lose contact with the road if I take that line. But of course I do run the risk of track limits warnings, or even a corner cutting warning, to be completely honest. But it has worked out well for us so far. Hamilton's in the pits now, and Verstappen goes faster. So 139.8 or 138.9 or something. I can't remember. I just saw it and I can't remember what it was. Either way, it is faster now. It's a sub 140. It is faster than we are. I think it was a 139.8. 5 tenths quicker than our fastest lap. He is on softs, so it makes sense that he would be moving a bit faster than we are on the mediums. And he is gaining time on Leclerc. We've managed to get out of DRS range to Leclerc, and Verstappen is now right behind him. Stroll, Tsunoda into the pits as well, and so is Daniel Ricciardo, who looks like he started on the softs. That is his first pit stop of the race. So the three of them, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, and whoever the other one was, I said, are all running quite long in this race. They might be able to go all the way to the end from here. Verstappen is pushing hard to try and catch up to Leclerc. We have a big lockup in front of Leclerc, and that smoke from the lockup may have slowed him down a little bit. That lack of visibility causing drivers to second guess decisions, and that gives Max a little bit more pace on Leclerc and a little bit more time close down on that gap to him, but he just can't quite get within range to make a move. He's right behind him heading through the chicane into the second DRS zone. He's going to have DRS on him here. Leclerc is too far away from us. He doesn't have DRS on us. Verstappen is gaining on him. Tries to go around the outside. Leclerc defends the inside. Verstappen, he's on the outside for the first part. Second corner is on the inside, but he's back on the outside again for the third. Leclerc holds him off, which is exactly what we want. We want him to keep Verstappen at bay, because if Verstappen gets past him and then it becomes a one-on-one between myself and Verstappen on those softs, I don't know if we're going to be able to hold him off. So I need Leclerc to just maintain that P2 for now and try and keep Verstappen away from us. We are sitting pretty though. We're a second and a half ahead of Leclerc, but these guys, they've got the pace. I don't know if they've got slightly better components than us, or if they're using their battery. They're probably using a lot of battery, being the last race of the season, but they are closing the gap on that DRS straight, that straight line speed, or it could just be the setup. They may have a low down for setup to get that higher top speed, but either way we are holding on to P1 in this race on medium compound tyres. We've all got one stop left to do another cheeky cut of that corner there. We didn't get a track limits warning there, which I thought we would, but luckily we didn't. Lap 17 now, and the driver order is still the same. Us in P1, Leclerc P2, Verstappen P3, Perez in P4, and Gasly in P5. But Gasly has lost a lot of time to Perez. It is now 4 cars all within 3 seconds or 2.5 seconds of each other at the front. Gasly 9 seconds back, cementing himself in that midfield pack, which our teammate Michael Schumacher is also a part of there. Hopefully he can gain some more positions and get a really good finish to his season as well. Leclerc is on the edge of the DRS range to us. He keeps ducking in under that second gap, and then we managed to pull it back out to over a second. So he is definitely knocking on the door of the DRS and getting into P1. We're just trying to hold on. Leclerc is pushing to try and keep up with us, and Verstappen is into the pit lane. Verstappen is heading in. He's trying to do an undercut on us. The overcut not working out for him. He got stuck behind Leclerc again, but this time going for the undercut onto the medium compound tyres, and he will go to the end of the race on these tyres as he heads down the pit lane, a very long pit lane. We are still battling with Leclerc. Leclerc is within DRS range of us. Perez P3 now after Verstappen went into the pits. Schumacher's now moved up into P4. He's on a second set of softs as well. I think he started on the softs, so he's doing a soft medium run this race. Ricciardo on the mediums in P5. He pitted late along with some of the others, so possibly going softs at the end on a 2-stop, maybe a 1-stop. Leclerc using the DRS to go past us as I'm sitting there talking about Ricciardo and Schumacher. Leclerc makes a move on us and he overtakes us into P1. Perez is now in DRS range of us. A little bit messy through that weaving sector 2 section there, and Leclerc is now starting to pull away. We've got a 6/10 gap to Perez. Leclerc is now heading into the pits, so he managed to get past us and gain some time, and now he's heading into the pits. Perez also into the pit lane. We are going to be heading into the pits at the end of this lap onto another set of mediums, which will take us through to the end of the race with hopefully minimal loss in grip and traction. So hopefully we'll be running really quick from the pit stop through to the end of the race. Our teammate also into the pit lane to go on to, I would assume, a set of medium tyres for the rest of the race. So the driver order now, we're in P1, Ricciardo P2, Hamilton P3, Tsunoda in that the AlphaTauri in P4, and Norris rounding out the top 5 both McLarens, after DNF finishes in the last race, are now both in the top 5 for this race. As we circle around the final corner, we're heading into the pits now. End of lap 19, so there is only 9 laps. 9 laps? Yeah, 9 laps left in this race. And we are heading into the pits for the final time. Not only for this race, but the final time of the season, hopefully. And as we're in the pits, Verstappen and the rest of that leading pack are circling around the final corner. Both Red Bulls right behind each other. Verstappen definitely trying to push to get ahead of us. We're going to exit the pit lane. It's going to be tight here. Verstappen circling around the right-hander, and we re-enter the track just in front of him. We put the foot down. We managed to go off the track a little bit on re-entry. Verstappen takes the inside, heading into the first corner of the chicane. We managed to hold on. Bit of a lock-up now into that long hairpin left, and we've managed to get ahead of Verstappen on fresher tyres. We use the battery. Verstappen is trying to keep up. We've also got DRS on Leclerc heading down into the heavy braking zone. Leclerc brakes early, and we managed to outbrake him, and we get the job done. We're now ahead of Leclerc. We're back where we were effective P1, ahead of Leclerc and Verstappen. Verstappen is trying to make gains on Leclerc. We've managed to overtake the McLaren, I do believe, of Lando Norris. Yep, it was Norris. And we managed to go around the AlphaTauri of Tsunoda as well, who was on even older tyres. So we managed to gain in a massive move on new tyres. I think there was, what, 4 positions. Overtake, we managed to exit the pit lane ahead of Verstappen. We go past Leclerc, past Norris, past Tsunoda. So we've gained 3 positions there. Huge move to get up into P3. Hamilton and P2. We're going to have a really good run out of the last corner. We're side by side with Hamilton, heading down into turn 1. Hamilton takes the inside. We take the outside. We take the racing line. We have a much better exit, and we managed to overtake Hamilton up into P2. So now there are 5 cars, or 4 cars I should say, between myself and Verstappen, and there are only 8 laps left in this race. We have the fresher tyres. We are sitting in the box seat at the moment for this race. I'm starting to lose my breath a little bit with all of this commentary. Just so much happening and so much on the line for this race. And we're managing to pull away now from Hamilton. 1.7 seconds the gap between second and third. Ricciardo is still ahead, 3 seconds ahead. We have slightly closed the gap on him, but he is off and away. If he is heading into the pits sometime soon, it's going to be a very short stint on the softs. I think he's doing a one stop. I think he ran long on the softs, and he's now just going to run right to the end on mediums. He did go into the pit lane lap 13 to come off the softs onto the mediums. So if he can go 13 laps on the softs, he can run to the end of the race on these mediums, and we get a fastest lap of 1:38.9, which beats Verstappen's fastest lap time by 9 tenths. We're having a dream run here at the end of this race. All we need to do is hold on. Ricciardo now 1.8 seconds ahead of us, 1.7 seconds the gap, and it's closing. 1.4, 1.3, and going back up now, but sitting around 1.5 seconds behind Ricciardo. Hamilton 3.8 seconds behind. We've managed to open a massive gap to Hamilton, and Verstappen is still stuck in that DRS train. He still cannot get past the people in front of him. He needs to make overtakes now. He's only got 6 laps left in this race to do anything, and if he wants that championship, he's going to have to find a way to battle past the guys in front of him and overcome that gap and try and catch up to us and make some moves. We are getting dragged along now by Ricciardo. We're in DRS range into that late braking zone. We end up braking very late, a little bit of a lock up there I think, and then we hit the curb coming out of the chicane, and we lose a lot of time there. And Ricciardo, we've still got DRS, but Ricciardo is now far enough away that it's probably going to be hard for us to get him here. We're too far behind heading into the next chicane to be able to do anything there to get ahead of him. And that was Looks like probably our prime opportunity to get a move done on him. He is now out of DRS range. Lap 25 now, so it's been a couple of laps now, and Ricciardo's gap to us is now growing quite quickly. He's now 2 seconds ahead of us. Hamilton still 3.5 seconds behind, so he's gained about half a second on us. But it's going to take a lot more than that to stop us from running away with a massive haul of points and even possibly a Drivers' Championship. We at this point have one hand on the championship. 4 laps left in this race. We just have to hold on. But that gap to Hamilton now is closing rapidly. Obviously using a lot of their battery now. We're not using our battery. I don't feel we need to use it. We can mitigate the losses there through this final sector, just with decent braking and decent runs through these corners. And the secondary zone, we're actually gaining time on them. So Hamilton now 2.5 seconds behind us, 2.4 seconds, and we are still in a pretty good position. Hamilton, Tsunoda, Norris, then Leclerc, and then Verstappen behind him. So Verstappen's still got a lot of work if he wants to catch up to us in this race. Lap 26, 3 laps left. Ricciardo still just over 2 seconds in front of us. Hamilton 3 seconds behind us. So that gap is opening and closing with each sector that we run through. We get a good run out of the hairpin heading onto the DRS straight, so we can gain some time on them there before they start to close that gap. And in saying that, the gap is not closing that much, so they're obviously recharging their batteries to have one final push at the end of this race.
Okay, so all of our tyre pressure data is reading 0 at the moment. Assuming they still look inflated to you, we're going to guess it's just a bad sensor. Shouldn't be anything to worry about.
Jeff, that is the last thing I want to hear right now. We've got 2 laps left in this race. Lap 27 of 28, and you're telling me now that there is an issue with the sensor for our tyre pressures. The tyres look fine, but hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. The last thing we want is any issue with this car when we're so close to taking away our first Drivers' Championship. I don't want to puncture anything. We did a quick check over the systems there, the tyre wear, the temps, the engine wear numbers, all that stuff, and everything looks fine. Everything looks okay for now. So maybe it is just a sensor, but we're going to have to just be a little bit more careful with these tyres now, as Hamilton has now closed a massive gap using that super ERS that the AI are known for in this game. The gap now 1.5 seconds to Hamilton. We run wide through sector 3, not a very good run through there, and Hamilton is closed in that gap. 1.2 seconds the gap now. Tsunoda in DRS range to him. Norris DRS range. Leclerc and Verstappen would also be in DRS range. Everyone is pulling each other along. Hamilton is now only 8 tenths behind us. The final lap of this race, final lap of the season. We are sitting P2 and Ricciardo is flying. He's had a massive race weekend. Excellent strategy by McLaren going for that one stop. Ricciardo is 5 seconds clear. He is leading this race. Verstappen crucially stuck in this train. He hasn't been able to get out of it ever since they came out of the pit lane. He is stuck in P7 behind Leclerc. Everyone's got DRS on each other. Super ERS being used. Right up the end there you can see I'm now being chased by Lewis Hamilton. We are not out of the woods yet. Anything could happen in this last lap. All we need though is to finish ahead of Verstappen at this point. Half a lap to go, the final DRS straight. We are being chased by Hamilton, who's closing that gap. 3 tenths the gap now to Hamilton, but we managed to stay ahead through this tight weaving chicane. Only 1 sector left. We're 1 sector away from glory. We go wide. We open the door for Hamilton, but he eases off. He doesn't make the move. We're just a heavy braking zone incoming. We lock up. We go wide again. Hamilton tries to make a move. He's now ahead of us. We have the inside for the next corner. We squeeze him back out. 3 corners left. Only 2 to go. 2 corners left in this hard-fought season. We've battled all the way from race 1 to now to get into this position. 2 points behind Verstappen in the standings. We're going to cross the line. P2.
Fantastic drive, and it means your driver's world champion. What a result. Enjoy it.
What a race weekend. What a season for us. P2 means that we are the new drivers champion for season 4 in my team. And there it is. Doing the celebratory donuts, we claim our very first drivers championship. We couldn't quite get the constructors, but there is the final standings for today's race. Daniel Ricciardo taking the win here in Abu Dhabi, winning the last race of the season, also winning the first race of the season. A great way to end for him, a great way for McLaren to end. We managed to take 19 points and a fastest lap in the final race of the season. Max Verstappen finishing P7, and there is the final standings for the Drivers' Championship. 261 points. P1 Drivers' Champion in Season 4. 11-point difference to Verstappen. That we ran that race as well as we could, and we end up coming away with a Drivers' Championship. A huge accomplishment for us. Great job by the team all season. We come away with we couldn't quite get the win in this race. It would have been nice to have rounded out the season winning the final race, but Drivers' Champions nonetheless. Championship goes our way in season 4. What a race that was, what a season it's been, and now it's time for some well-deserved R&R, and time for Michael Schumacher to go back into retirement here in this virtual reality that we've created. Be great to see him go and relax now after helping us through this season. He couldn't quite get the results that I'm sure he would have wanted, but still a great job nonetheless. If you enjoyed this video and if you enjoyed the entire series, please do leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Please do subscribe if you're not already. I will probably be looking at changing up some stuff on the channel. Maybe starting another channel for these longer videos, doing an F1 23 series for my team on a second channel, and having this one as just a I guess a shorter form video channel. Maybe even looking at doing some streaming and stuff at some point in the future as well. These are all things I've sort of been thinking about over the last couple of videos. So yeah, if you're interested in these sorts of videos, I might start a second channel just for this sort of stuff, and have shorter videos and a different variety of games on this channel. But anyway, that brings us to the end of this race weekend, the end of this season. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos. Thanks for watching, everyone.